If you want to see it, go watch yourselves. This isn't audio porn.
Where do the quiet gays? Where are the quiet gays supposed to go?
I should probably check how old this is before I drink this. This has been in my fridge for an unknown amount of time. Oh my god! This this expired so long ago.
Is it kombucha?
Yeah.
What's the date? And I just saw you take a swig of that.
Yeah, over a year ago. It still tastes fine.
Ew.
Am I gonna die?
No, you'll just have a tummy ache.
I mean, it's kombucha, which is why I'm worried about it being expired.
Wouldn't it just like ferment more? I say don't drink it.
Dang it.
Yeah. As a now CNA, I say don't drink it.
Because this girl has some big news.
I passed my test.
Woo-hoo!
It was so nerve-wracking. You have to do 5 skills. So you have to do 1 measurement. So that's like blood pressure, pulse, respirations, weight, something like that. I got respirations. And it was so funny because like the normal range is like 12 to 20. And the girl I was doing it on was like breathing so shallowly. And I was like worried because it was like rapid. So she ended up having like 19 respirations. And mine was, to put it in context, mine is 12. Right?
Oh.
So that's like breaths per minute. Okay. And so at the end, I was like, and the tester person counts at the same time, but not like out loud, right? You're like, have to match. So I said to her at the like after I finished taking her respirations, because you have to like come in, do your intro as if you're like working. And I was like, so your respirations are okay. Are you like a little nervous? Because while it's in the normal range, it is very high. And she was like, my anxiety's so high right now, Lauren. Like, and I was like, okay, phew, okay, good. Then that means I'm probably right. I did it all. And then I passed my written and there was like 5 of us testing and we were so scared, but we all passed.
Yay.
So I am done. Although now I have like a taste of nursing and I'm like, I'm going back. So I'm going to go do an acute care certification this month, which is like a 3-day thing, because then I can do CNA stuff with like pediatrics, maternity, and surgical.
Nice.
And I think I would love to be a pediatric CNA.
Mm-hmm.
Like I rather wipe kids' poop than grown-ups.
Yeah.
I'm used to doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, one of my classmates was so funny. She was like, my cousin said, born to be a princess, forced to wipe shit.
Oh my God. My day list today. Listen to what my day list is.
Okay.
Girl dinner, pink Pilates, princess morning.
Oh my God. That's so cute in you.
Is that not exactly me?
How? Well, there's also a scene in the L Word that we're going to talk about that I literally wrote down. This is Haylie.
I'm really curious. Oh my God.
How was your princess morning?
Oh, my princess morning was so nice. I had a little cute slow morning with my girl and walked to get coffee.
With the puppy?
And no,
Oh.
no puppy right now.
Oh.
Yeah. But oh my gosh, last night I was with my girlfriend last night and I was like, babe, I'm about to burst into tears because you're so beautiful.
Oh, that's so cute.
And she was like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, she probably looked at you like you're crazy.
I'm like, you're so beautiful right now. I'm gonna cry. And I literally like I started crying. She's
You're
so beautiful.
So cute. You guys are disgusting.
I know. I was like, I couldn't control it. I felt it coming and I was like, oh no, I'm in danger. This is not gonna stop. This is about to be a full-blown sobbing.
So as the person who like kind of got you guys together, do I get to officiate the wedding? Because I actually think I'd be really good at it.
You probably would.
Well, you guys just let me know.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Welcome back everyone to Lesbian Book Club. Now that you have heard all about Haylie's princess morning and my anxiety-ridden morning, we watched the 5th episode, and my notes are so long.
Wow.
But you know what? It was like a quick episode, I felt like. But I have a lot of notes, and I think that they're really funny. Okay. How did you feel about this episode, Haylie?
Okay, this is not like about the actual content of the episode necessarily,
Okay.
but as somebody in film watching this, I
Uh-huh.
was getting so excited about the editing of it. Like, I was thinking about how fun this would be to edit.
Oh, okay. Say more, because there was a point where I was like, oh, Haylie's going to be able to like, this is more content wise, but there's a point where Haylie's going to be able to like really give us some info with the mom, with Alice's mom and the auditions and like what all that means. So
Uh-huh.
I thought that'd be really fun. But what do you mean editing wise?
Well, the way that this show is structured is that, there's all these different friends stories that we're following, right? And sometimes they're all together, but a lot of the times they're individual. And the way that the editor chose to put them sequentially in this episode in particular is really interesting because
Oh,
you'll get, especially with Bet's storyline in this particular episode, you'll get
okay.
just like a couple second flash of Bet or of Jenny in the middle of something else that's happening. Like you'll have kind of a longer thing with something else, and then like a couple seconds showing this really high stakes thing that Bet is going through, and then it leaves her again. And
Yeah.
so it's just kind of like in the back of your mind that Bet is having this like really intense day,
Yeah.
and you don't really get to see what's going on until like you all of a sudden get a lot more context at the end. But
Yeah.
um that was so fun because also the places in which they chose to put it, it felt like a little bit random, but
Okay.
it was like a lightning strike, just like bang, here it is, take it back out, which was just so fun to me. I was like,
Oh, I love that. I love
yeah.
that, especially because, again, like it's your first watch. So this is fun that you're picking up on all these little things. The beginning part where it opened up, what the heck was that about? They didn't even reference that again, did they?
They didn't. So I feel like that's a character introduction that we're going to have to get at like in a later episode. But
It's not, though.
someone, no?
No. So, yeah, these two women are in bed. There's a knock on the door. One of the women gets up, answers the door, and she's like, obviously, these two women know each other. They're like friends. And the woman at the door is looking for her girlfriend. And she's like really worried about it. And the woman who answered the door, the friend, is like, oh, I'm sure she's fine. You know, she's wild. She knows she's, this is to be expected. She's like, okay, a couple more hours. And then I'm calling the cops because she's like concerned about her girlfriend. And the girl goes back inside and like gets into bed with this topless woman and is like, who was that? And the woman goes, oh, that was your girlfriend. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's super shitty. But also, like, I'm confused because I remember this opening scene when it came on. I was like, oh, I know
Mhm.
exactly who's who in this. But I was like, but nothing ever came of it.
Interesting.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Unless I'm like sorely mistaken, but these three women, I do not know. I
Their
do not
names
know that
were
man.
Helen. So it was Helen came to the door looking for her girlfriend,
Okay.
and Stacy is the girlfriend.
Right.
And I don't know who the woman is that lives there
Neither do
because different
I.
names. So I don't know. I guess I'll be paying attention, listening for the names Helen and Stacy. And um, this was not in the United States.
Yes, it was. It was in
Or
like the
no, yeah, this was
village.
in yeah, this you're yeah, you're right. This was
It's
in
in New York.
New York. Yeah.
Oh, maybe there's a tie-in. Maybe. The only person I can think that would tie in would be who we talked about last episode would be Helena. Because I think she is in New York. I don't know. But anyway, that was the opening scene. I don't know what it had to do with anything. But let's talk about Dana.
Yes. Dana.
Poor little
Dana's so
baby.
naive.
She's so cute. Oh my God. So like there's Dana's story opens with Lara and Dana in bed together. And Dana, we don't know what's happened, but it seems like Dana's really embarrassed. And what I thought was so funny is it's like that play on, oh, it happens to every guy. Don't worry about it. And so you're like, oh, did Dana like somehow not perform? But when it comes to women, that doesn't make sense. And then I was like, okay, maybe she wasn't able to come. But then I was like, but then Laura was like, dispelled that thought in my head when she was like, no, I had the best time. And like Dana was, I don't know. We were just left with kind of like, we don't know what happened.
Yeah. And then her friends are like, well, did you queef? Like, and she doesn't even know what that means. My worst fear is this is my worst fear because this happened to somebody that I know.
Oh no. I'll tell you mine after.
Is shitting myself.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's way worse than mine.
Yeah, like somebody that I know literally pooped on the girl she was having sex with.
How do you do
in
that?
the middle? Well, you know how like if something's like inside you and it's just like putting pressure, I guess like that's what happened.
But then that's like a bad angle. Change your angle, don't shit.
I don't know, girl. Didn't happen to me, but it's my worst fear. It is actually my worst fear. And I was like, is that what happened to her? Like, that's immediately where my mind went. Because obviously it's my worst fear. Like that's what happened. But no, because then Laura's like, it happens to everybody. And I'm like, that does not happen to everybody.
Okay, well, new fear unlocked. Oh my God.
I know, right? It literally.
I was thinking like, if you like are going down on someone and you like sneeze.
That's what they said too. That's what
Alice like said. Because I have heard where like someone, I think it was a guy, like blew into this girl's vagina and it like killed her.
What?
I know you're not supposed to like blow air in there. I know. I'll have to fact check that one, but I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. So it has to be true, right?
That's my fear. I thought that Alice was talking about like the person who was receiving sneezed and like something weird happened down there.
No. Well, I mean, I guess it would. No, giving and you just have to sneeze. But I'm like, why wouldn't you just like look away? Don't like sneeze into the vagina.
Oh my God.
But yeah, the air being blown in, that scares me.
Who knew there were so many things that could go wrong during sex?
Okay, but nothing went wrong with Dana. She just squirted.
Yeah, and then of course her friends were like, Dana, girls try and do that. And Dana's like, what? Which, like, yeah, it's true.
It is true.
Try and do that. And Dana was embarrassed.
Which is crazy. Why were we embarrassed?
Did she think she was peeing? Like, why
was she okay, I'm gonna like burst everyone's bubble, but when you squirt, it is pee.
Part of it. It is partially made up of pee.
Okay, but wait, I have to tell you when Dana didn't know what queefing was, that's the part that I was like, that's Haylie. Not that you don't know what queefing is. Not that you don't know what queefing is, but that like sometimes you just like don't know slang or like you don't know what things are. And you will just true. Like, you're so cute because you'll just ask. But sometimes you will also just sit there like, and I'll just catch a look where you're like, oh, you don't know what that means. Okay, hold on. Let me just like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been rapidly learning new slang in the last 7 months.
Right? Wait, we've almost known each other for a year now. Because we met. Did we meet in July?
Yeah.
Oh, look at us. We're so cute. A little 1 year friendship. But wait, I know we're doing Dana right now, but can we talk about Alice during this little scene as well?
Yeah.
Okay, because Alice is like swearing off women. She's going to go back to men. She wants uncomplicated boy-girl sex because women are crazy. And Alice is like the quintessential stereotypical bisexual, at least at the very beginning of the show. especially back in this time where she's just like, I'm just going to switch, blah, blah, blah. You know, where nowadays it's like, well, who are you like actually attracted to?
Mm-hmm.
But it's really funny. But then this man enters and she's like, I've seen the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. And turns out it's Shane's friend, whose name is Lisa, which is a male name. It can be a male or a female name. And like Alice is so into this guy, but turns out this guy identifies as a lesbian.
Yeah, as a male lesbian.
What did you think about that?
I was like,
it reminded me of Drake.
Oh my God.
With that stupid lyric. I have my idea of what they were going for with this, but I want to hear what you think.
I think that just based on the way that he was talking, he seemed to be emotionally feminine a little bit. And I think that that's where he was like, oh, well, that makes me a lesbian. But I don't think that that's really a thing. I don't know. I think that, okay, if he was a trans man and he started out as a woman identifying as a lesbian, and then he was a trans man and he was like, well, it doesn't really like feel right to call myself like a straight man. Then he could say that he's a lesbian.
That I totally get.
Yeah.
Because lesbian has to do so much more with also like how you're socialized, your view of women, like how you interact with women. Like it has a lot more to do with a lot of those factors, not just I simply like women.
Right. Yeah. But him as like, as far as we know, he's just like a cis man, and he just feels like he's going to be a lesbian because he's emotionally feminine. Yeah. That just doesn't really sit right with me, because as a man, you can be emotionally feminine.
Yeah, like, it's fine.
Yes. Own it. Yeah. That doesn't make you a lesbian.
Your take is far less sinister than what I thought they were doing.
What did you think?
So trying to keep in my mind that this is literally like the early 2000s, I thought they were kind of poking fun in the same way that they keep putting Tim and Jenny explicit sex scenes in. I thought that, and I've said this before, I think it was to try and broaden the audience of the show. I think that this character, Lisa, was put in there for like the skeptics watching the show. And you know how like right now, a lot of people are like, oh, how many genders are there? And how blah, blah, blah. There's so many things to learn and you can just identify as an animal or blah, blah, blah. I thought that's kind of what they were doing with Lisa, was kind of being like poking fun at all of our like categories. Yeah. But in a way that was like, I don't want to say it was less harmful. I don't want to say this was harmful, but also like the way it doesn't sit well with you, it definitely did not sit well with me either. And I just like don't like it. But I thought it was more to like poke fun into like a specific group of demographic that might be watching the show. Like mainly like maybe some more conservative people who are watching it as like a gawking experience. But I don't know. That was just my like initial thought.
I would be really interested to hear from people who were in the writer's room for that episode.
Yeah, because it's weird.
Yeah, I want to know what was going on. Yeah, when they wrote that.
Yeah, but we'll never know unless these like episodes. But what if like our little tiny podcast episodes like take off and we actually get on Shane and Alice's real life podcast? That would be so funny. Then we could be like, we have questions. But okay, since we're sticking with storylines, we're going to fast forward a little bit. And we have Dana, Alice, and Shane. Are they just at the planet all day? Like, because Dana's like, well, this is so lesbians. Lara hasn't called me in 21 hours after their first date where they've had sex. I was cracking up. I was like, that's funny. Yeah. But also that is a long time.
Yeah. Did they have cell phones? Yeah, they had cell phones because Bet's always on hers.
Yeah, but Bet has like a old, it's like one of the first ones. You know how like all the corporate people got cell phones before like lay people? But
Yeah.
Alice has one, right? But still, texting was like 50 cents a text.
Yeah.
So
So
Laura
maybe
hasn't
she
called.
just like, I don't know, didn't have good access or something. I don't
But
know.
this,
Were the rules of calling different then? Because now I feel like you send like a follow-up like, "Hey, I had a really good time with you," like
right,
an
right.
hour after or something.
Yeah.
But back then, I don't know. I feel like there was a 3-day rule or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. I think we're all thinking that because but that was like a straight thing. That's always in like the rom-coms. I don't think lesbians work that way. At least
Okay.
not in my experience. But I do think like so much of the humor comes from like Alice and Shane and Dana in this episode because what it they were like, Dana, you what happened after that? She's like, I left without saying a word. And Shane's like, from your own apartment? And she's like, yeah. I thought that was so funny.
Oh, Dana girl. It's
But
okay.
Dana can rest assured that everything's fine because what happens?
Lara shows up with a rose at the planet and they hug, and Alice goes, ugh, ew.
I know. It's such an intimate hug. It's so like they're already so coupley. And I mean, like, that's pretty on point, I feel like.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, is that mostly what happens with all that whole episode with Dana? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so I love Lara and Dana. I've made that very clear in a lot of these episodes. I think they're so cute. So, yeah, this is just the little start of their whole thing. Yeah,
Poor
Alice.
Alice.
Oh man, poor Alice. And as soon as like I realized that it was the intro to the mom episode, I was like, "Oh god." Like cuz this is a saga. I can't wait for you to see where this goes. It's so funny.
Oh, I could not stand her mom. I talked to too many of Alice's moms in a day.
Yeah, that's what I
I
wanted to talk to you about.
realized. Ugh.
Okay, so set us up. Tell us about Alice's mom. Tell us a little bit of the storyline. You could just do like a brief overview and then we can like talk all the fun things.
Yeah, well, Alice's phone goes ring ring. Hello, Alice, it's your mom. I'm in LA. Come see me. What the heck, Mom? You're in LA? Where are you? Oh, I'm at this hotel. I need you to come here. Quick, hurry, please. Oh, God, Mom. Okay, fine, I'm coming. Oh, hi, Alice. You're here. Great, thanks. Well, I need help because the hotel, I can't pay for it. They won't just let me stay here for free, and the director is supposed to be paying for this, but they haven't yet, so I need you to go talk to them. Oh, God. Okay, Mom. I'll see what I can do. Hello, ma'am. Yeah, we can't let her stay here for free anymore because she has an almost $6,000 tab. Oh my God, how does that even happen? Well, you see, ma'am, it's $900 a night. She's been here for 5 nights, plus room service, plus she's making calls. Oh my gosh, Mom, this is terrible. So are you gonna use cash or card? Ugh. So that's the start of Alice's mom being in
Do
LA.
you know what you just sounded like?
What?
Olaf in Frozen 2 recounting Frozen 1 for the native tribe in the Enchanted Forest. 2 sisters, one special, one not. And oh no, Anna! Death. That's exactly what you sounded like. Yes. So Alice's mom is, we find out, a soap star previously and has this like big giant not attitude, but like persona, right? This big, like, I'm famous persona. And she's supposed to be there because she's supposed to be in an Alan Lichtman film, who I don't know who the hell that is, but whatever. Some hot shot film. But she doesn't end up going to this it's not actually what's happening. She's trying to do open calls, which why would you stay at the Ritz or wherever, or the Palace or the Plaza or wherever the hell they were. Why would you stay there? Like, who are you trying to impress? Like, is this for yourself? I don't know. But super annoying. And Alice finds out about it, but chooses, didn't she not come? Did she confront her mom?
Not yet.
Yeah. Did she at all?
Not in this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say Alice chose not to confront her mom, which I feel like as a kid of like it would be humiliating to confront your mom about this for your mom. Even if you're the most understanding, like obviously your mom is like trying to put out this type of demeanor or whatever. I don't know. I kind of like gave Alice props for that.
Yeah, I think she was trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in this moment, she is realizing, okay, my mom does not have this role that she says she's about to have that's going to let her pay back this money I just covered her for.
Yeah.
So now I'm out $6,000. My mom has no job, no prospects. She's like, okay, for people who don't know the way that this industry works, if you're an actor and say you're an established actor like Alice's mom is, she would have an agent and would have people coming to her if she's a celebrity asking her to do roles or to come audition for roles. If she is the celebrity status that she's like going around saying that she is, right?
Right.
She wouldn't be going to open calls as a celebrity.
Haylie, what's an open call?
An open call is an audition where basically they put out a notice and say, hey, we're doing this film or this project, and we are looking for an actor that can play this age range. Here's the character description. Show up. Here's what you should look like, basically.
Okay, and then, so anyone can come.
Yeah, anybody can come. And often at these open calls, because anybody can come and they've just put it out to the public, so many people show up, especially if you're in a place like LA. Like, oh God, hundreds and hundreds of people can come, depending on what it is.
Okay.
But usually when that happens, like everybody shows up and looks exactly the same, like the same exact outfit. And there's been a description of this person in the call. So
yeah,
everybody shows up and they have like the same hair, the same face, the same build. That like, it's really kind of a weird experience.
That reminds me of the Friends episode where Joey goes to like an audition and it's like full of a bunch of Joeys. Mm-hmm. And he's like trying to find an identical twin for studies, for like biological studies. And so he goes to an open audition that sounds like him and he finds someone.
Uh-huh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what was happening is she's in a room full of grandmas. That really showed Alice that, okay, this is a woman that is not who she's pretending to be. Her prospects are not as big and hopeful and promising as she says that they are. Yeah. And if you're attending an open call like this, like if you're a beginning actor and a starting actor, that's totally fine. That's how you get your start. But if you're somebody who is supposed to be celebrity status, that's pretty bleak. That was a big awakening for Alice in that moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Where her mom is actually at.
Yeah, it was really sad when we see the mom get dropped off by Alice. The mom waits for Alice to like leave and then like walks down the street to like the open call. I thought that was really sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this mom is very, man, I mean, clearly it's a lot of like out of insecurity and she's kind of like puffing her feathers and whatever, but and she's putting on a show for people, but man, she is self-obsessed and just drove me up the wall this whole episode. And it was really I liked the moment at the end where kind of Jenny's writing and is observing everyone through the backyard and
yeah,
like you see people telling all sorts of lies, and Alice's mom is like, oh yeah, like I've never had any work done. How old do you think I am? And it's like, oh yeah, clearly you've had work done.
Of course.
And then Shane is like, oh, I don't know, 35, maybe 40. And it's like, yeah, and Shane's lying too.
Shane is like low-key hitting on her.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm excited to hear what you think about that end scene with Jenny when we get there. Because I have questions for you as like a first time watcher. So yeah, that's kind of, we see Alice and her mom again at the end when there's like a little hangout scene, which I really want to talk about because I have thoughts on it too. And Alice does come up as a main player in Jenny's story. Let's talk about Jenny.
Let's.
Oh my God.
Well, at the beginning, Tim is like, Jenny, why do you look so good? And Jenny's like, oh, I'm just going to the planet to write.
Change of scenery.
Yeah, Jenny full on has like blue eyeshadow on to go sit at the planet.
Mm-hmm. And like a white t-shirt and like a mini skirt. Like, yeah. She's looking good. She is looking very good. But why, Jenny?
Right. And then Tim's like, oh, I'll go with you. And Jenny's like, shit.
I know. It's so palpable. I have a problem. So they go to the planet and Jenny is just staring at Marina the whole time. And I don't understand the writing at this part because for the past 4-ish episodes, the things that Jenny has been saying about Marina to Tim, like, I don't understand why Tim isn't like, why do you want to go to the planet? You don't even like Marina anymore. Like, I don't understand why he's not suspicious. Right.
I don't know either. If my partner was staring at somebody, I would notice immediately.
Yeah, and I think that's like plays into like he's a cis straight white man and they don't notice shit. You know what I mean? But I still feel like you got to give him a little more credit. But he is like trying to come up. He's working. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I would notice.
There's just like really strong energy around like staring at somebody.
Yeah. And I do think that this is like a pivotal experience that Jenny has because I think because she follows Marina into the bathroom and they like start fucking in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a pivotal point because now Jenny is like actively choosing this cheating scenario. She's actively choosing, she's going to where Marina is, she's following Marina, she's actively engaging in this. And now I have a problem with it. Like, because last episode I was like, yes, it's cheating, but it's like a little different when it comes to like figuring out your sexuality. Do I think it's right? No. Do I understand? Yes. This though is like a calculated, I am going to cheat. And that to me is a problem.
Also, she's doing it like with Tim right there.
Right there.
Is even more screwed up.
That's like evil. That's so evil. She like doesn't give a fuck.
No. In her mind, she's like, oh yeah, well, as long as Tim doesn't find out, like, it's totally fine. I'm not hurting him. But it's not.
No, that's not horrible. Okay.
That's actually horrible.
It's so bad.
Oh my God. Also, they go into the bathroom, her and Marina. And I'm like, oh, they go in there because the girls' bathroom, obviously, Tim can't go in there. Right. And then Tim walks in and she's like, oh, I hate these unisex bathrooms. I'm like,
why would you do that? Yes.
You idiots. You choose a unisex bathroom while your fiance is there that you're cheating on to go fuck in the bathroom. Like, you couldn't get stupider. Like,
when Marina has a whole ass office with a lock on the door, I'm sure.
Literally. Like, you're going to go do a bad thing that you're not supposed to be doing, and you're also going to be stupid.
And she had to have known even lesbian, like, quick hookups, they take a minute. Like, it's not like
a long time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because, like, what you see is Tim looks at his watch and goes looking for Jenny. Mm-hmm. Like, that means it was definitely more than, like, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
understand.
because he was like, Jenny, are you okay? When he was in
Right.
there. And also she was so suspicious. She's like, yep, yeah, I'm totally fine. And then like
Comes out immediate.
crawls out of the door, like trying to keep it shut. And then she's like, oh, I hate these unisex bathrooms. Like you really scared me. And he's like, okay, well, try and like not scare you while I pee. And luckily goes in the other stall.
Oh my God. I was so scared. But also, ew. I wrote ew in my notes because she comes out of the stall and he kisses her. And I was like, ew, she's just been like making out with someone else. But this is obviously like on par with Jenny, who like comes home and then will like fuck her boyfriend after fucking Marina. So, which, it was gross. Yeah, luckily he did go in the second stall, which like doesn't make sense to me unless maybe he thought she was having like diarrhea and he didn't want to go in that stall. um, but like Marina's trapped in the stall and they just like stand there and listen to him pee.
Yeah,
Gross.
weird vibes.
So weird. But then the next thing that happens in their little storyline is Jenny gets a call from what we later find out is her previous teacher slash writing mentor. His name is Nick. And immediately you can tell that Tim does not like this guy. And Tim is just like always wrong. He's always suspicious about the wrong things, which is so funny to me. Like he really is so dumb. But it's not his fault either because he has no inkling that his wife is in, or his future wife is like in any way queer. So it's like not his fault, but also he is dumb.
Yeah, well, also though, it is fair for him to be uncomfortable about this guy, considering this is a former professor that she gave a blowjob to, which,
True.
like, okay, there are certain circumstances where I think it's fine and fair for people to be friends with their exes or like past situationships and whatever. In this situation, this feels so weird to me because as a professor, why are you getting blowjobs from your students if like there's no reason unless you're just a sleazebag?
Jenny says that though. Jenny basically says he is a sleazebag. He fucks his students and he's terrible, but I'm not like into it anymore. You know, he's just my mentor. But I do get Tim's hesitation.
Right. But then why is Jenny keeping a sleazebag around in her life?
I know. Because he helps her with her writing. I don't know. It's
find someone else, girl, to help you with your writing.
But she comes from like a
bag around.
Okay, but to be fair, she comes from a small town. I don't know where that she went to college or where this professor was from. She doesn't know anyone else. So I understand her keeping him as a mentor, especially if she's like cut that off. And it's obviously been years since it happened because she's been with Tim. So I'm definitely not defending him. I'm just saying like I get both sides.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's my message to all you young people out there listening. Get the sleazebags out of your life. There are so many other mentors available out there that are not sleazebags. And listen up to all of you mentors out there. If you're a sleazebag, get your mind right and stop being a fucking sleazebag. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get your shit together now. Thank you.
They never will. Thank you for that PSA.
Yeah. Fired up.
Yeah, it's really disgusting.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jenny can like sense Tim's uneasiness about this and is like it cuts to like a different time and is this when they're watching the slalom? Jenny's like trying to fuck Tim again, but he's like, because she like senses his uncomfortableness and sex really is the way that Jenny proves like her loyalty.
Yeah.
To Tim, which is like, we could talk, that could be a whole episode, but like she really does try and use it as like reassurance for him. And I thought this was really an interesting sex scene. I wrote dead sex eyes. Tim notices, and she's literally thinking of Marina during this. This is what I say about this being like such a pivotal point.
Yeah. It was because she has like a centimeter of emotional bandwidth for Tim.
Yeah. And he doesn't do it for her anymore, like at all.
No, so she like literally there's no she has nothing emotionally to give him.
Right.
And so she always just turns to sex to be like, "Oh, everything's fine." She's
Yeah.
literally trying to prove to him that everything's fine when everything is not fine. And I feel like she can't convincingly lie to him verbally,
Yeah.
and so she has to just use physicality.
Yeah, I think you're right because she's not a good liar.
Mm-mm.
Like she's just really not like she's all dressed up and he's like, "What are you dressed up for?" "Oh, I'm just going to the planet." Like, yeah, she's not a good liar. I think you're absolutely spot on with that. And he is now noticing.
Yeah.
And he thinks that this has to do with Nick when
Mm-mm.
really like she's thinking of Marina on top of her instead of Tim.
Yeah, and he's totally spiraling, and it's now
Oh, yeah.
affecting his job and like his relationships with his athletes and his coaches.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, at practice, he's just been like really intense lately. And at practice, his star swimmer shows up late. She comes running in. She's like, "I'm so sorry. I had to retake that physics test. It was the only time that my professor would let me do it. Like, I'm here." And he's like, "What? You think you can just make your own schedule? All these other girls are already in the water. Get out."
He's so harsh. He's such a dick.
Yeah, and she's just like, "Oh my God, okay." And like turns around to leave. And the other coach is like, "What? Like, Tim, what are you doing? Go get her. Go get her and tell her to get in the water. What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, I think they needed this interaction to then have the later interaction between the assistant coach and Tim, which I thought was so disgusting, that interaction. But yeah, Tim is like absolutely spiraling. And then like the assistant coach and Tim have like this gross heart to heart where the assistant coach basically tells him, because Tim tells him that Jenny's going to go and meet with Nick. And the assistant coach, who I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but he is like, "Well, that might have been fine before you put a ring on it, but now you have to put your foot down and you can't let her do that." And I'm just like, ew, because that really is the thought process that a lot of men have.
Mm-hmm.
Not all men, but a lot of men. And that is gross. Like you don't get to control her just because you asked her to marry you.
Right.
What did you think about that combo?
Yeah, that was gross. And Tim was like, "Yeah, I'm not into that like caveman thinking."
Which good.
Yeah. But I think that what the assistant coach did is he named it out loud for Tim that Tim is questioning if he's able to trust Jenny.
Yeah.
And while it isn't actually about the professor, even though Tim and the assistant coach don't know that,
Right.
Jenny isn't trustworthy.
He's
And
picking up on something.
exactly, Tim has picked up on that. So, while Tim hasn't been able to really admit that to himself, but he can feel it and he is being affected by that, and his life is it's having like a wave effect across his life. Yeah, so that really, I think, set in motion what happens next. And that is that Tim goes on the search for Jenny because
Again. So you know what I'm just putting together is he searches for Jenny 3 times this episode. I just realized that they did that like very thematically and I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue. He goes searching for Jenny, but Nick and Jenny meet for their dinner. And the sum of that is like, he hates her story. He doesn't think it has any edge because she's like talking about commitment and how great it is. And he's like, "That's not you. That's so weird for you to write. Like, it's not good. Your writing's not good." And she confides in Nick about Marina.
Yeah. Which, okay, also this dinner, the setting was so sexy. The restaurant, they were sitting so close to each other. They were touching each other the entire time. And her voice changed. Her voice was not the same voice that she uses with everybody else. She was trying to talk sexy. They're touching each other. They're sitting so close. They're drinking red wine. The lights are dimmed. So I'm like, okay, this was actually so fair for Tim to feel weird about this. And she's like, of course I value your opinion. You're the most genius editor I've ever had. Like, girl, stop with that. This is not respectful.
No, it's not respectful for relationship. But something with Jenny is I feel like she doesn't have a very good. Sorry, I'm like burping because of my Diet Coke. The thing with Jenny is she doesn't really have any type of formed self-identity. And I think she becomes the person she's with. I had a friend in college, a guy friend, who did this. He would act so different depending on the group we were in. And he was acting like the person who he valued their opinion the most. So like with Jenny, Jenny with Nick is acting like Nick, that sultry, kind of pervy, sexy vibe, right? With Tim, she's very sweet and like soft-spoken and kind and everything, right? And then when she's with Marina, I think is when she has the most formed sense of self. But even in that, she doesn't, right? Like she's always the one who's being pursued with Marina. Now we see her start to pursue Marina, but that's what I'm saying is she is only really starting to understand herself moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I did think that Nick's feedback about her writing was very astute, though, about commitment not being her thing. And I did like his note about like you have to dig deeper than that, and the thing that makes your writing so good is like the most raw, real emotion and feeling, and what's really happening. Like when you write something, and no matter if it's how you want the world to perceive you and what you want to present yourself as to the world. Like for her, it was that like, oh, true love and commitment and whatever. Like, if that isn't real, the reader can tell that you're faking.
Right.
And and it's just not going to be that good, no matter how well written it is. So I did like his note about that. Like just as an artist, I was like, yeah, he's completely right. But as somebody who's constantly judging Jenny, I was like, Jenny, you little twisted psychopath. Get out of here.
You have pegged Jenny so hard. Yes. So immediately after confiding in Nick, she goes again to the planet. And remember, Tim is looking for her. Mm-hmm. Where does he go? He goes to the planet. And so he walks in, Alice is there.
But first he goes to Nick.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, I skipped ahead. Yes, Tim goes and confronts Nick and he's like, don't tell me she's not here. And Nick's like, well, she's not here. And the thing is, Nick is such an asshole because he's like, congratulations, knowing full well that like Tim's fiance is full on cheating with a woman. But he's just like, she's not here. Congrats to you. Like, he's such a dick.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're with Jenny and Marina at the planet. Tell us what happens because it's fun. It's kind of fun. It's not fun. It's not fun. I'm not saying this is fun. I'm saying watching it is a fun experience.
Yeah. So Jenny walks in, goes straight to Marina, starts like flirting in French with her. Marina immediately stops working to take her to their office, and Alice and Shane see this all happen and are just sitting there like jaws on the floor.
Like, oh, this is happening. Yeah. This is confirmed.
Yeah. So they go in there in the office and they start fucking, and it's very like graphic. basically. Well,
Are you gonna tell
guys
us?
don't
You
need-
saw it the episode.
you guys don't need me to tell you, actually. If you want to see it, go watch yourselves. This isn't audio porn.
Yeah, very good. I know. I was like, are you gonna tell us what happened? It's a good scene. I'll say it's a good scene. It's hot. But this is the second time Tim is like, as the person who's watching the show, this is the second time Tim is like this freaking close to catching them. He's so close. And it just is like, how close is he going to get until he finally catches them? He's so.
The stakes are so high.
I know the stakes are so high. But I love Alice.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. So this was actually crazy. I feel like I'm like gossiping.
I know, it's funny.
So Tim comes in and he's like, has anybody seen Jenny? And looking around, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Jenny, and Alice and Shane see Tim walk in and they're like, oh shit. So Alice like runs back to the office, opens the door, literally sees the scene unfolding in front of her of Marina and Jenny, and everyone is like, and then Alice goes, okay.
Well, hold on, because Alice's face, she goes from concern to shock to amusement to oh shit, and then is like, Tim is here. We have to get you out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she, basically she is Jenny's hero in this moment and Tim's worst enemy.
Yes. But I do like the loyalty. I do appreciate the loyalty, like the female loyalty. You know what I mean? Because no matter what, she probably is a little bit of Tim's hero because she saved him from walking in on something that would have been devastating.
That is true.
So,
yeah, if he's going to find out, I guess like there are nicer ways to find out than walking in on that.
I can't wait for you to find out how he finds out.
Oh gosh. Yeah, well, so then she gets like basically rushed out the door and Tim is still looking for her in the bar. But yeah, she goes straight home, acts like nothing happened. Basically, this is like a physical gaslight.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't actually say anything like, oh yeah, I've been home this whole time. But he just comes home and sees that she is like in the back shed writing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, you're working. And she's like, yeah, he was like a pompous ass and ripped my work to shreds. So I'm reworking this. And so he's kind of like, oh, well, I guess I didn't check back here. I don't know. Like, maybe she's been here this whole time. Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
she must have come home while I was ready to go beat up Nick.
Yeah. Like without even saying anything, she just gaslit the hell out of this man.
Yeah. Yeah. Jenny's not great. Jenny's going through a lot. Let's talk about my favorite person in the whole wide world, who is kind of really mean and harsh in this episode a little bit of the time.
Yeah.
Which at certain points I found really hot. And at other points I was like, oh, why do I like this person? But we'll get into it.
Yeah, she didn't have like a very shining bright episode as far as being nice.
I know, but she is so sweet though. This is what it must mean to be a stan. You're just like, I'm not listening, la 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 la. But we are at a pretty climactic point because Tina is going to take a pregnancy test when this episode opens up, and Alice is there. Which, did you have any, like, you've seen the episode obviously, but like, did you have any thoughts about that, like immediately, or did that seem normal to you?
That seemed normal to me. Like,
it did to me as well.
I would feel totally normal about my friends being there when I took a pregnancy test.
Yeah, same.
Like my best, like to have my best friend there.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Unless it had already been pre-talked about with my partner of like, I want to be there with you, or I want to be the first to know. Like, I mean, I understand why Bet wanted to be the first to know. Of course you would want to be that, but I wouldn't be upset in the way that she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get her being upset to find out that like Alice spilled the tea that
Yeah.
everybody knew before me.
Yes. She should be
But
mad at Alice.
yeah, but not at Tina.
No, it's not Tina's. Alice being there is Tina's quote unquote fault. But like Kit finding out was not Alice's fault. Like Kit showed up right after it turned positive, and like Tina's literally holding the test.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman knows what that test looks like.
Yeah.
Right. And they're all so happy for her. It's like such a sweet moment of like, we're going to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that really stuck out to me that was kind of sad was Tina saying, I'm going to do everything right. That.
In front of Kit?
No, just in general. And we might circle back to this in future episodes, but her saying, I'm going to do everything right, as if she has control over this pregnancy in any way, shape, or form. It was a little heartbreaking to me because I know that's how a lot of moms feel at the very beginning of a pregnancy of like, I'm going to eat right. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do everything and I'm going to do everything right. But things can still go wrong. You know what I mean? And so when I heard her say that, I was like, ooh, ouch. Like, I understand the mentality that you're like talking about, but at the same time, like, oh, sweetie, you can't control everything. You know, that was kind of my feeling when she said that. I wrote it down, and maybe that's just from my own prior experience or, you know, life experiences, but that kind of struck me. And I was like, oh, Tina, don't put that pressure on yourself, you know?
Yeah, I had a little bit of reaction to her and Alice talking about that too, but it was because Kit was there and they were like, yeah, I'm going to do everything right. Like, I'm going to not drink. I'm not going to take any drugs. Like, and they just kept listing all of these drugs. And Kit's sitting there and she's, you know, an addict, and it just kind of felt like they were listing all of her wrongdoings and being like, and this is what I'm not going to do. And I know that they didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
But I just know that couldn't have felt very good to Kit.
Yeah, but Kit started that. Started that. She was like, "Oh, you don't get to do any of the fun stuff. No wine." No. Like I thought it was like just like a banter, but I hear what you're saying, especially because we find out about the letter and everything. So I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah, and at that point we don't know about the letter, but then later on when we did find out, I was even more like, ooh.
Ow, gut punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so Tina is pregnant. Kit and Alice know, and they are sworn to secrecy. And you cannot tell Alice anything. Classic bisexual cannot keep a secret. Okay, they know too many people. But then we cut to Bet, and Bet is having, it just looks like a shit day at work. Her phone's ringing off the hook. Her assistant's coming in because Bet, if we remember correctly, did not get the provocations show for the CAC. Peggy Peabody did not give it to her, and she went and unbooked impressions. But Bet's online too. Her assistant's like, Tina is online too, and her assistant's like, Tina's still online too. And all Tina wants is for Bet to come home for dinner. She's like, it's really important. I'm cooking. Like, she's like, I can't talk right now. I'm having such a bad day, and blah, blah, blah. And Tina's like, okay, please just like try. Mm-hmm. And I am so Tina, because that's how I would be. I'd be like, I can't tell you, but like, it's important to me. So please come. Mm-hmm. And Bet has no idea what's going on, but she's like, all I can do is say that I'll try. I'm like, oh my God, Bet.
If somebody that I loved talked to me like that, there would be immediate tears.
Okay, I think I'm just used to it.
Oh my God. I don't care how bad of a day you're having. If you speak to me like that, no, it's done. Like you can be having the worst day and still talk to me with respect and kindness. Okay, that's my stance.
You have higher standards than I do. I'm just one to make like a lot of excuses and accommodations and being like, it's not about me. They're really stressed out. She's having a really hard day. Like, I understand, and I'm gonna like give her grace. I just give too much grace, I think.
Yeah, see that's the thing is like I will absolutely give grace and understand about
Yeah.
like if they're having a bad day and they don't want to be talked to or like they need some
Yeah.
space or if they're grouchy and maybe they snap like once like okay, I get it like but you've got to reel it in and apologize and be like okay, whoa,
Yes.
sorry that was, but oh God,
Oh,
there
you must
has
have
to
really
be
not liked her later in the episode.
no, I was pissed off. And I could not believe that Tina didn't just burst into tears because like
No, you can't burst into tears because then that just gives. See, this is what I need therapy for. You can't burst into tears, Haylie, my therapist, because then you're going to be the source of their unhappiness.
no,
You're going to be why they're upset.
no,
I
no, that
know.
oh
Trust me, I
girl.
can hear it. I'm
No,
getting
yeah.
better. I'm getting better. And
Yeah.
that's my own thing. That's not my partner's fault or anyone's fault. That's my own thing that I am like Alice in that I need a little bit more of a backbone.
Let you gotta have somebody that is respectful and kind.
Yeah. Bet is respectful and kind, overarching.
She was not today.
Okay, fair enough. We'll agree to agree / disagree. But okay, so Bet does come home. She is in a mood. She is fucking pissed. And she sees that Tina has like 3 place settings set out. And she's like, I can't believe you fucking invited someone for dinner. You know, the day I've had. Well, again, like, that's not very nice. But she does immediately flip. I'm having so many realizations in my head right now. She does immediately flip, though, when she realizes. Shut up, Haylie. When she realizes what's going on. She is like immediately the sweetest, sappiest partner ever. That is how, okay, minus the first part. That is how I would want my partner to react and like come over. And I wrote down that they gave like sweet I love you kisses where they're just like kissing and in between each kiss. Bet is like, I love you. I love you so much. Oh my God, I love you. I thought it was so sweet.
She is so happy to be a mom.
I know.
Kit definitely called it that Bet was going to be pissed that she wasn't the first one to know.
Oh, I know. Well, because Kit's her sister, she knows.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had to laugh because Tina was like, the doctor wants us to come in for an ultrasound tomorrow. I'm like, at 4 weeks, there's nothing on the ultrasound. You can't see shit.
Also, yeah, when they went in for that ultrasound, I was like, that baby is so much further along than what this.
Oh, that baby was like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And she was 4 weeks. It's like in a sack. It's like 8 cells at that point.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very funny.
This baby had a heartbeat. It looked like
had
a
little
full,
arms.
Yeah, I'm like, that is not a 4-week
no
fetus.
They won't even do an ultrasound like that. I think the earliest I got an ultrasound was 6 or 7 weeks. And that was early because I've had previous miscarriages and I was freaking out. And my doctor was like, just come in, we'll check and see. So, yeah. So they go to the ultrasound, but it did have a really cute shot. You have to admit, once the baby came up and it's like the shot of their 2 faces and their smiles just get bigger and bigger. And then their foreheads end up resting and Tina's playing with Bet's hair. And they're like, that's our baby. And yeah, it was really sweet. See, I'm just being gaslit. Okay. I don't know what to do with hot and cold. That's like what I like. Okay. I like the toxic hot and cold situation. Okay.
Oh no.
Because the hot is so hot, but the cold is so cold.
Oh no, Lord.
I sank off the Zoom window in shame. Okay. We have to keep going though, because I could talk about this for so long.
But we got Peggy back, and we love Peggy because she saved Bet.
Yeah, she did.
Yay, Peggy Peppermint.
Oh my God, Peggy Peabody. Wait, but before Peggy, Bet and everyone is at the planet, and Bet finds out that she was not the first because freaking Marina ruining everything, brings Tina, this is not Marina's fault, brings Tina like a little something and is like, congratulations, I'm so happy for you for the baby. That was my best Marina accent.
Oh boy.
That's really bad. I think I'm
We'll
charming
work on that.
with how bad I am at accents.
Yeah, in our off time, we'll
Okay, great.
That's some work.
I don't know what her freaking accent is from. It's like not French. It's like Romanian or something. But yeah, Bet's like pissed because Dana's like, wait, what's happening again? So you. And they're like,
Yep.
Tina's pregnant. And she's like, why do I always have to be the last to know? And Bet is so snarky. She's like, don't worry, Tina. Or don't worry, Bet. Oh my God, who? Don't worry, Dana. You're the second to last to know.
Uh-huh.
So that was bad.
Yikes.
And I do understand Bet's upsetness. I don't like where it's focused because it's focused on Tina when it really should have been at ours.
Yeah, and Tina legit spent the whole day trying to tell Bet, and Bet just like was not letting her.
I know.
So in no way is this Tina's fault.
Yeah, and they got their special moment. You want a special moment when you're telling your partner you're pregnant. And they got that. So I don't know why she's so upset.
Yeah.
You know, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Like she could have just been like, oh, hey, babe, I'm pregnant. Sorry. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I guess that was before the ultrasound, but whatever. But okay. But then Bet does get really mad at Tina. It's really mean when they're going to the car. And I literally wrote, this is the scene that I was like, damn, Bet, why am I attracted to this? She's like acting like Tina's betraying her. And then she's like giving her like the meanest evil eye in the car. Like she fucking hates her. And I'm just like, that's terrible. You just got this woman pregnant. Like you should be nice to her. And Tina does say a really heartbreaking thing. She said, you know, sometimes I just need someone to share a moment with. And I think that's when Bet responds with, that's just sad. Because she's realizing that like she wasn't there to share that moment with her.
Yeah, she lets her life get consumed by work.
It's really unfortunate. I have a problem with people who make their career their end all. And I always have. I'm pretty sure I talked about it in our first episode with Evelyn Hugo. Like, I'm pretty sure Rox and I like went back and forth on it because Rox is like gung-ho about Evelyn. And I'm like, no. What about her relationships? Your job is going to end. Like things are going to change. Like you're never going to be able to have that forever. But like your love and your relationships are what lasts. Like that should be more important. But yeah. So she does apologize though.
Your quality of life is only as good as the quality of your relationships.
That's a tagline. That's a good one, Haylie. I like that little proverb you just spit out. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us about Peggy Peabody.
She saved the day. She's my hero. I love her. You know what? I'm gonna hang a poster of her on my wall with those two dogs in her arms.
I think Holland Taylor would approve of that.
Yeah, she's my personal hero. She comes in and she's like, oh, this place is a maze. How am I supposed to find my way around here? Somebody get me Bet Porter. Oh, sir, you look competent. Help me. And he's like, okay, well, they're in there. And then she's like, oh, great. Take these dogs. Give them some water. And she goes, and he's like, ma'am, no, you can't go in there. It's the board of directors. And she's like, get your hands off me if you want to live another day.
I know.
She's like, okay. And she walks in there and they're like literally about to fire Bet. Like they called this unscheduled meeting to fire her. And she walks in and they're like, Peggy, what are you doing here? Like they're all so shocked that she'd be at the CAC. And she's like, Well, I heard that you're planning on firing Miss Bet Porter, and that is insane. Why are you doing that? She's the one who got you provocations, and they're like, provocations? What do you mean? And she's like, yeah, provocations is coming here, but it's only coming here on the condition that you keep Bet Porter, and doesn't she have an extension in her contract? And he's like, yes, 18 months. I would suggest you exercise that right now. Because once provocations is shown here, all of these other museums are going to be begging for her. So that's the deal, boys. And they're all like, oh shit. So anyway, and Bet is just sitting there with a little smile on her face because the board of directors just like absolutely got shown who's who in this room. So loved that.
Can I tell you why we're such good friends? Because of the fact that we both have incredible auditory memories. Because when I want to talk about something, I want to talk about it word for word. What did you hear? What did they say to you? What did you say back? And the fact that you just did that word for word was chef's kiss.
Thanks.
That was so good.
We are the same in that way.
I know. Makes our gossip sessions really good, though.
I know. We're like human tape recorders.
No, we really are. This is just perfect. So saves the day. Bet is saved to live another day at the CAC. And then we come to the last couple little scenes. And I love how much of a hostess Tina is. Like, I loved the scene of Bet coming home after having this like triumphant day. Finally, she's gone through the pits of turmoil, comes home and all her friends are there. Everyone's having a glass of champagne. They're celebrating the baby. And it's just so homey and community focused. And like everyone's just there having a good time. And like Tina set that up. And this is where they complement each other so well. Tina's so good at making spaces for Bet to come into that are like a respite from her work.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that.
Yeah. It was really nice. I got stressed out when they had the champagne and Tina was like, it's just one sip. I'm like, no, don't even take a sip. What are you doing?
She can have a sip. She can have a sip. The umbilical cord isn't even there yet. She's fine.
Really?
Yeah. 4 weeks, having a sip of champagne isn't going to do shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what really freaks me out is I've had 2 or 3 friends that have had, I forget what they're called, but it's like a sneaker build, but a sneaker pregnancy. Like when you have a baby and you didn't even know you were pregnant. Yeah. Like
my 5'2" frame of a body could never.
Like they literally went their entire pregnancy having no idea. One friend found out when she was like 8 months pregnant, and then the other 2 friends literally like gave birth and were like, "Oh shit! Well, I guess I was pregnant."
That's way too many friends for that to happen to Haylie.
Isn't that really wild? But like, these girls were all like partying and drinking the whole time because they had
and their babies were like fine.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know. I don't know anything about their babies, but that just stresses me out so much.
That is stressful. Yeah, obviously, if you know you're pregnant, it's better to like not drink. But one sip isn't gonna kill you or the baby.
Yeah.
And then Kit ends up showing Bet the letter that she got from, now we know, is David, which is her son. And he needs a medical history form, and he's just not, it seems like they have lost touch. Mm-hmm. And obviously due to Kit being an addict. And he writes a little thing on a Post-it note, like, I'm happy for you that you're in 12-step. Grandpa told me you were there. I wish you all the luck. I need this medical form to apply for certain residency programs, which tells me he is a doctor, which is so cool. Like, despite his circumstances, having an addict for a mom, he is able to have a very good life. Yeah. But Kit is very sad and devastated about this.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's working through it. And that's going to be such a hard part of recovery for an addict of any sort, of dealing with the consequences of actions that you took when you were a different person.
Yeah.
Right? Because, God, to have your adult son not want any contact with you, that's so sad.
Yeah.
One thing, so also who's there in the group is Alice's mom. And I did think it was really cute. Sometimes these people who are really self-absorbed but are performers are kind of awesome. Because I love when Bet walked in and she says, "Brava, the conquering heroine." And I was like, well, that's literally why I like Bet. It's because she is that fucking archetype. So I thought that was cute. And they're all just having a good time. And meanwhile, Jenny is over there just clicking on her typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Tim comes in. And yeah, let's talk about what she says about everyone, particularly what she says about Bet and Tina. I want to hear what you think about this.
She's basically, so she's writing about like a demonic possession that's come over her, aka her love for Marina.
Which is so sick that it's written like that. I didn't like that because Nick is the one that's like, well, it's not Nick necessarily that brings it up. Jenny says it feels like there's like a demon possessing her, which already like, okay, that's like some religious trauma shit for sure. But then Nick's like, lean into that. So now she's writing about her attraction to women as like a demonic possession. I did not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. And she and it turns into like basically this demon who takes the shape of Nick.
Yeah. Did you read any C.S. Lewis?
No.
Okay, because this reminded me of the Wormwood character in the like letters. It's basically like C.S. Lewis having a conversation with a demon, and the demons are like having a conversation with like Satan about how they're gonna like trick humans. It felt like that. And for any of my religious trauma listeners who know what I'm talking about, please DM me so I don't feel alone. Okay, thanks. Bye. Screw Tape Letters. That's the book. Okay, now bye.
Okay, yeah, for those of you who know what she's talking about, give her some community. Okay,
please.
Anyway, Nick takes the form, the demon takes the form of Nick, and he's talking to her about lies. Lies take so many shapes, and so many people, everybody's telling lies of different kinds, and Bet and Tina are like the lovers telling each other lies. Like Tina's telling the lie that everything would have been fine if things hadn't gone the way that they did today. Like had Bet lost her job, everything would have been just fine between them. She's saying that's a lie.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think that maybe that is probably a lie, because I think Tina would have tried to be supportive, but I think that Bet would have destroyed the relationship. I think that Bet would have been so one-track minded about her career and losing her job, that she wouldn't have been able to have thoughts about anything else, and she wouldn't have been able to think about Tina or the baby. Like, I think that it would have absolutely shut down her entire life, except for the like grief and shame that she would feel about losing her job, and it would just train wreck the relationship.
But the thing that I wanted like your thoughts on was, it says that the demon says like, this lover is about to tell a lie, right? And Tina says, hey, whatever we face, I know we can make it through. You think she's talking about like Bet's job and everything and all of that? Okay. Got it.
Well, that's what I thought when.
Yeah. No, that's a great thought. This is your first time watching Haylie. You're fine. The next couple episode rewatches are going to be really good.
Oh boy. Okay.
I know. You're not. I love that you have no idea what's coming. This is really fun for me. Okay. So yes. And then after the demon gets his way with Jenny and tells all these lies and what points things out to her, she asks Tim to like stay with her.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that? Because I have thoughts.
This felt manipulative to me.
Okay.
Because it felt to me, in one part, it felt like she was feeling guilty for everything.
Okay.
And this was her way of trying to ease some of the guilt she was feeling.
Okay.
And also, I think she does love Tim. And so she was like, oh man, I just want to like be close to you for a second. But I also think that there was part of this that she's catching on that he's suspicious and she's trying to make him feel like, oh, well, I want you close, babe.
Yeah, I got kind of the same gist. My thing for Jenny, Tim has always been safety, right? And I think he truly does make her feel safe. But I think he makes her feel safe because she feels that he is completely devoted to her.
Yeah.
And there's safety in that, right? You know that this person is devoted to you, so they're not going to leave you, right? And I think she's reaching out for that safety consistently through these last 5 episodes. And she knows she's going to lose it soon. So she's trying to hang on to like every ounce. Now I'm doing it with those fingers. She's trying to hang on to like every ounce of safety and assurance that she can get from him at this point. That was my take on that. That's it. That's the end of episode 5.
It is.
We got Tina pregnant. We got Jenny still fucking around with Marina. Now in a less allowed way. Tina or Bet is on top of her game at the CAC with Peggy Peabody backing her. Shane, we don't really know what's going on with. She's just probably whoring around, which is fine. Good for Shane. And Dana and Lara, cute. Alice is sworn off lesbianism.
That is all, everyone. Thanks for listening.
That's our show. Please be reading Stone Butch Blues. Again, we're just going to always emphasize trigger warning on that. Please be kind to yourself. You do not have to listen or read a book because your favorite podcast tells you to. But we love you guys. We will see you on the next episode.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.